Thank you guys so much for joining us here at Crain & Company. Got a great show for you today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Blaine.
Yes.
Before we get to this stellar interview, people are saying, rumors are flying.
Are they?
It could be the greatest interview of all time. Can you please tell people how the chat works?
Absolutely, chat. First of all, what is up? If you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate on topic, it will get read. All donations will get read at the end of the show just for you. Multiple polls today where you get to decide maybe who the winner is or what you think is best. Cone, you tree of a man. What's going on over there?
Yo, call-ins this Friday. Your last chance to talk to us before the Final Four. Also, an interview with John Fanta tomorrow.
Yeah, I wanna
Fanta tomorrow.
Dude, is Michigan State fans still hitting you up or what?
Who cares?
It never stops.
Who cares? I know it's it's not like I'm coming out here from a bad place or anything. This is personal experience. Personal experience. I got to see both sides of the fan base. Did we win both games? Yes. But Michigan State fans, assholes. Michigan fans, pretty cool.
Well, Instagram's going to love that. Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl joins us to preview Florida and their Final Four matchup. We're going to rank the top 5 men's college basketball programs moving forward. And is Ole Miss head coach Chris Beard a primary candidate for the Texas A&M job? Check it out and more today on Crain & Company. Now, typically at this very moment, I would enthrall you with a monologue that blows your mind and teaches you things you didn't know or maybe have never thought about. But we're going to go ahead and get right to the interview with Auburn head coach Bruce Pearl, whose team for the second time in 6 years finds himself in the Final Four. Let's go ahead and play it. Well, we are super excited to be joined by one of the last 4 coaches left that are dancing right now, Auburn head basketball coach Bruce Pearl. Coach Pearl,
yes,
let's go.
We're not worthy.
Let's go.
We're not worthy.
What's up, guys? How's everybody?
Doing great, man. I'm surprised you still got a voice at this point. I mean, Blaine went to the games in Atlanta, and he could barely talk yesterday. So we appreciate you making some time for us.
Man, it's been a whirlwind. I can't believe we're still on the road to the Final Four. I can't imagine if we were, traveling back from someplace other than close. I mean, we're just down the road in Atlanta, and yet, everybody's pretty popped today after, a really long but wonderful and incredible weekend in Atlanta.
Well, Coach, I kind of want to start, where it all started when Auburn brought you in, and in 2014. And look, we're both from Lee County, grew up, born and raised in Auburn, Alabama. I was a ball boy back when there was the Cliff Dwellers and Chris Porter was dunking, and Auburn was number 1 in the country. Then we went through a lull.
Right there.
Yeah, right there. I remember that.
Right there, yeah.
And then we went through a lull, and you know this better than anybody, where Auburn basketball really fell off. And, when you took the job, obviously you're confident in what you do. You knew you're really good at what you do. And I know you thought you were going to win. But 2 Final Fours in a span of 6 years at Auburn, did you ever think it would culminate in this, or you could take Auburn from where they were to being one of the top programs in college basketball year in and year out?
Yep. Well, first of all, Jake, I didn't take Auburn anywhere. And I know it's going to sound like a corny, pat answer, but I've got an incredible staff. I got a really good staff. Yes, I put the staff together, but it's very much their doing. Ira Bowman or Corey Williams or Stephen Pearl involved in recruiting. Stephen with defensive game plans. Mike Burgermaster with offensive game plans. Maddox in operations, and Ian running camps and doing. I mean, it's a Marquise Daniels team developed. It's a whole team. Second thing is, you guys know all the players that we've had. You know the dudes that we've had. You know the sacrifices they've made. And, people wonder why grown men cry on television when the season's over. It has nothing to do with losing. It really doesn't. It has everything to do with, I've been with this kid for 5 years, almost every day. And tomorrow, I'm not. And that's what is so heartbreaking and earth-shattering. So the day we're done, I'm going to be shifting gears to helping Dylan Cardwell and his agent figure out where he's going to go next and what tryouts. And we'll be doing that with all of our players. but it's not like getting on a bus. It's not like having a meal. It's not like having a Bible study. And so, no, man, it's been great. Beyond my expectation, no question. I thought we could come here and be competitive. I had no thoughts that we were going to go to the Final Four, let alone twice.
Well, Coach, it's been amazing. I do want to ask you, too, during this season, obviously you guys dominated for so long, which is so hard to do in the game of basketball with the non-conference schedule you played. And then obviously the SEC being what I think is the best conference that we've ever seen from top to bottom in college basketball. And then you clinch the conference regular season title at Kentucky in Rupp Arena, a place where Auburn hasn't won since like Alexander the Great was riding on the back of elephants. And all of a sudden you drop a couple in a row to really good teams and people start panicking and thinking the sky is falling. Can you just talk about how you guys handled that and were able to, your culture, your identity, to be able to say, look, at the end of the day, we're going to keep moving forward. And now you find yourself with all the expectations, with all the pundits saying, oh, Auburn they peaked too early. Well, you're in the Final Four, and it turns out they were wrong.
Well, yes, almost all of that. We definitely clinched the league at Rupp, magical moments. We have won more times in Rupp Arena this month than Auburn has won in Rupp Arena in the history of our program prior to this month, okay?
Yeah.
We won 3 times. Not always against Kentucky, but it's just mind-boggling. We lose at Texas A&M, a 3 seed. We lose at home to Alabama, a 2 seed at the buzzer. We beat Ole Miss, a Sweet 16 team, and then we lose to Tennessee, a 2 seed in the SEC tournament by 5. And so there was no reason to panic, but we weren't playing our best basketball. We weren't. And I really think it took Creighton to get us a little bit of a wake-up call and going, look, if we keep jacking around like this, we're going to get beat. We will not survive in advance. And I thought that my son, Stephen Pearl, stepped up a little bit as it related to calling the team out. Dylan Cardwell took his lead, and we all got a bit of a wake-up call. But fortunately, we didn't get that call at halftime or right before the game. The day before the Creighton game, we decided that we're going to focus. We're going to lock in, and we're not going to beat ourselves. And for 3 games, we've done it. We've done a great job.
Yeah.
Coach, congratulations on making it to the final weekend. Thanks to you and that incredible staff you're talking about. I now have to watch the new Snow White movie since you guys beat Michigan, but that's my cross to bear, and I will get through that, okay? I do want to say, all 4 number 1 seeds advanced to the Final Four for the second time in college basketball in this tournament. Do you think that we will see this tournament become more top-heavy given the current state of the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness? Or is this just one of those things where, like, hey, the number 1 seeds are the 1 seeds for a reason, and sometimes they win their region?
Yeah, I don't know that because of NIL or transfer portal that this is going to be a trend. You do recognize whether it be for the national championship in football, David, the teams that invested in NIL were the ones that got down there to the playoffs at the end and played for championships at the end. I don't know that's the case. I can tell you right now, my NIL is somewhere in the middle of the league at the SEC. Now, that's still pretty good, but we're in the middle of the league. So we didn't get there just because of our NIL budget. Mm-hmm. And so, look, but here's a question. Can you name one team in college basketball that you think right now is better than Duke, Florida, Houston, or Auburn?
I cannot.
And I think that's incredible. And I agree with you. I don't think you can. Now, somebody may have a fan favorite or make an argument with somebody. I don't think because the body of the work of these 4 teams, you have got the 4 best teams playing for the national championship. And what in the world is wrong with that?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's supposed to be? And, so the difference between us going this time and 2019, when we went 19, I think Virginia was a 1. I'm not sure, but they weren't a dominant one. And I think on the other side of the bracket, both Texas Tech and Michigan State, neither one of those were 1s. And so that was a really kind of, let's just say, hey, man, this is kind of a winnable Final Four. Right now, we are going to be playing whoever's playing whoever. Every one of us are going to be the national champion. And so it's going to take an incredible effort.
No doubt. Your answer echoes some sentiments that we were talking about last week, where people and critics can't have it both ways. They can't say, well, we want a tournament filled with Cinderellas, but then we also want the best possible matchups with 1 seeds and 2 seeds in the Elite Eight and the Final Four.
I'd rather have great games.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, I want to talk about the culture that you've built at Auburn right now, and it's so hard to do. How have you built an environment where players are growing as people and not only as players?
Well, I mean, I'm old school, okay, and I'm old. You add those two things together, and look, we're still going to graduate our student athletes. We've graduated 43 in the last 11 years. Probably going to graduate 3 or 4 more this spring. That takes discipline. It takes accountability. It's important as far as these kids rest of their lives. I'm not going to use them up. And then bottom line is this coaching, it is a ministry. We can change lives in many, many ways. And that's when a parent gives their child to me. They know they're getting way more than just the basketball. If they want just the basketball, then they should go somewhere else. Yeah. If they want just the NIL, they should go somewhere else. Because we're going to work on them, and spiritually, we're going to require them to become make sacrifices and be unselfish. We're going to hold them accountable. We're going to push them. We're going to love them. Coach Dye said, you can coach them as hard as you love them. And so last thing I would say as far as how do you create that culture, who do you hire? What men do you have around you? It makes a statement to your players about the way you want them to behave. What kind of fathers are they? How are they on the road? Are they running around? Are they doing the wrong things? Well, guess what? Your players pick up on that stuff. I guess it must be okay to coach if that's how they're going to roll. That's not how we're going to roll. To the best of our sinful ability, that's just not how we're going to go. We talk the walk. We talk about calling God. We bang a 3 and we call the Lord. Well, great. And I got parents emailing me and calling me, going, Coach, my daughter banged the 3 the other day and she called the Lord. It was great. But you know what? If we're going to do that, well, then you got a responsibility to try to live it too. Yeah. And that helps me call them on the carpet.
Well, not only that, Texas Tech was doing it after hitting 3s against Florida. And Coach, I don't know if you saw that. The Williams kid
awesome.
was doing it. Yeah. I know you're a busy man. I got one more for you. Florida, you played them earlier in the year. Obviously, it was at home, and it really kind of started that heater that Florida got on. What do you have to do differently this time against a protege of yours, Todd Golden? It's basically a plot out of a Star Wars movie. But what do you got to do differently this time, you think, to maybe be on the other side of that coin?
Yeah. Well, I'm not Todd's father. Okay.
The Todd father?
You're not. Hold on.
No.
Todd father.
And I didn't give birth to Princess Leia also, although I do have a daughter named Leia. So actually, This is coming together to your point.
There it is. Accidental.
I got out coached. He did a great job preparing his team. They hit us in the mouth. The front line played better than our front line. I don't want to say they dominated, but they did. And Clayton was the best guard on the floor that night. Now, will Miles Kelly and Denver Jones and Todd Pettifor and Chad Baker-Mazara have something to say about that? Well, they will. What are we going to do with that opportunity? Martin didn't even play in the game. And yet, Martin is playing really well. Will Richards, a handful. I've been saying this for 2 months now. Florida, to me, has been playing the best basketball for anybody in the country. You look at what Houston did in the Tennessee game and how they just locked down such a great team. Obviously, they're terrific, and Duke might be better than all of us. So it's we'll have to play better than we did last time in order to be able to beat the Florida Gators.
Well, it's going to be a fight.
Can't wait.
We appreciate you joining us. Like I said, I know you're super busy. Congratulations again, and from at least 2 boys from the 3-3-4. Thanks for doing it. It's a lot more fun to watch when you're playing like that, Coach.
You got a couple of 3-3-4s, and you got a 3. Is that a 3-1-3 over there, David? What is that?
9-1-2. I was from South Georgia and went all the way to Michigan.
Yeah, South Georgia boy.
State where Georgia Southern is.
Auburn missed on you.
Thank you, Coach.
They did.
Thank
you. And so did Georgia when they took
I tell
Matt Stafford.
Coach/Senator Tupperville that every time I talk to him.
All right, Coach Pearl. Thanks, brother. We really appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you. War Eagle.
War Eagle. Man, Bruce Pearl.
He should have been coaching Auburn football.
One of the best. One of the best. I will say, Cohn, if you ended up going to Auburn, I don't know if the show would survive.
No, it couldn't work. Three of us.
I don't think it would work. Two's plenty. But Bruce, man, he seemed loose. Seemed loose.
You won't. Bruce.
I'm starting to feel good about it.
I've always
my spidey sense.
Not only good about it, I felt great about it. It's the reason why I picked him to win it all, David.
I picked him to go to the Final Four.
Okay, well, whatever. But there's a reason I picked him to win it all. I've never.
Well, let's just get past
I've never
this
felt
one
better
first.
about an Auburn team.
Let's get past this one first.
And now even more people are doubting him. Good. I want all the doubt.
Bring
all the doubt,
worst
please.
odds to win it out of the Final Four.
Out of all four?
Out of all four.
Good.
Auburn's like
Great.
plus 525.
I don't agree with that.
I just want to know what Oz the Mentalist thinks so I can just prepare myself.
He's alive. We could ask him.
Well, we should. If you could find him, whatever cave he lives in before he comes out and goes on TV.
Hey, come on. Come on the show.
No, keep that witch away from me. I just want to watch him on TV. All right, let's get to the chat.
Let's go to a $10 donation from Bruce and Ballin. What's up, man? Is Bruce Pearl the best culture coach in the country right now? He doesn't just win. It feels like his guys love playing for him as well.
Well, it does seem fun. He lets them play. I mean, you see the way like Chad Baker-Mazar and these guys go about it. It looks like a fun system to play in. And he obviously has a good recipe in the transfer portal and getting guys from kind of the mid-major level that are still hungry. And it works, obviously. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of the doubt about what he can do in the NCAA tournament has slowly just been washed away.
I'd play for him. I love his quote, you can coach him as hard as you love him.
Yeah, it's true. Very true.
$5 donation from Toomer Tim. What's up, man? He says, legit question, fellas. Has Bruce Pearl passed Gene Chizik and Gus Malzahn in the Auburn coaching legacy?
That's a good question. Especially the
technically
Gene Chizik.
Technically,
because Gene got a national championship.
I would say pass Malzahn because Malzahn didn't get a natty. I mean, you've taken Auburn to 2 Final Fours in basketball. It's a lot easier to win at Auburn in football than it is basketball.
Yeah.
Not that either one of them is easy. Chizik did get that natty, though.
Did get
But
it.
I don't know. Does 2 Final Fours, does that like equal weigh a natty in Auburn for basketball?
I don't know.
I feel like basketball is the hardest one.
Let's let this one play out.
Let's let it play out.
We'll talk to you next week again.
Yeah.
All right, $5 donation from the Jorts. What's up, man? He said, I kind of hope Auburn doesn't win because I do not want to see Bruce Pearl take his shirt off again.
Well, look, as a guy that wears jorts, I see no reason
hang
why
out,
you're
man.
not.
Sometimes you just gotta
I
let it
get why
out.
you're rooting for Florida.
Hold on. Someone with the handle Jorts doesn't want to see another man take his shirt off.
Yeah.
It's ironic.
Look, it's 2025, David. Get used to it.
All right, a $5 donation from James. Appreciate it, James. Says, can we talk about how Bruce Pearl took a team with basically 0 top 10 recruits and outworked most of the blue bloods all season long?
Yeah, I mean, look, Tahad Pettiford is a 5-star. Janai Broome has grown into, you could say maybe the best transfer portal player in the history of the college basketball transfer portal. We'll see what transpires here in the Final Four. But the recipe works, man. It works. But, I mean, that's not the only example. Like, Florida got Walter Clayton from Iona. It's not like he transferred in from Kansas. Like, there is something to getting guys at that mid-major level and then watching them, have that chip on their shoulder, go to a place that has better meals, better travel, better home environment. It keeps them hungry.
All right, the poll is, does Bruce Pearl deserve a statue?
Yes, 90%.
Yes or no, David?
They said yes. The Auburn fans came out. But do you have to win a championship to get a statue?
I don't think so.
To get a statue?
Charles Barkley has a
Not
statue.
talking about something happening.
Charles Barkley has a statue. He didn't
Does
win
he?
a championship.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, then that should end it then.
So does Janai Broome deserve a statue?
I think Janai Broome deserves
Because
it.
Janai Broome's a better college basketball.
And I don't just give
just
statues
giving those
away.
things out now?
I'm not just giving them out. If
Well, look,
Charles
after
Barkley has a statue for what he did at Auburn, Janai Broome did better than Charles Barkley. I mean, I love Charles.
I would love a statue as long as the guy who ever made Dwayne Wade's statue is not doing it.
You talking about Carmelo Anthony's?
No, I'm talking about Dwayne Wade's.
Oh, Dwayne. Yeah, that one. That was bad.
gracious.
I thought like they let like a kid who like dreamed.
So Charles Barkley has a statue at Auburn.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the poll results were yes, 75%. No.
Who's that
25?
25? Who's that 25?
I bet they're that you have to win a championship crowd.
Well, speaking about faces that look like they were made by an 11-year-old,
Oh, great.
let's talk about Jeremy's Razors with this great clip that features my brother. Let's play it.
Transphobe.
Who's there? God, the acting skills.
You're such a good actor.
Racist.
Which I'm not.
White silence is violent.
No way.
Traffic.
Is Razor talking to me?
What can
you see
be
how that got delivered?
unburdened
That
by
was
what has
perfect.
been.
I don't even know what that means. Stand back.
point.
That Razor's woke.
You're so weird.
Tell him,
Stop
Siakam.
giving your money to woke corporations who hate you. Shave with Jeremy's instead. Thanks, Black Jeremy. Anytime.
You nailed
Oscar
that.
performance. I just
You
don't know-
absolutely
I
nailed
just don't know
that.
why I'm not in more movies. And
Yeah, we need to do
commercials.
more movies.
Like, they really, look, this is where the money gets made. I'm a natural.
Maybe this is how you become Batman.
Some people say I'm the next Heath Ledger.
So, well, let's hope
Whoa,
it ends a
hold
little
on
bit better.
now.
Some razors are made for soy lattes and safe spaces, but Jeremy's razors are made for men with a backbone and a beard to tame. Engineered with 5 stainless steel blades and 0 apologies. No lecture, no pandering, just a razor that works. So find out why 250,000 men switch to the politically incorrect razor for men. Shave boldly, live freely. Visit jeremysrazors.com today and look at my brother do cool commercials.
Speaking about just handing out statues, let's chill out a little bit with the Heath Ledger comp.
Well, look, I'm talking about from the acting standpoint, not from just
It was really good.
from
and
popping a bunch of pills and walking around with a camera.
I mean, you were great, but it was even more impressive to see that razor talk.
I don't know how they got it to do that.
why don't you step out?
It's like those. It's
How'd
like
they
those.
get it to do that?
I thought maybe the razor went up to you from an acting
The
standpoint.
thing about it is like that razor actually does talk.
Well, I just wonder how they get the animals to move their mouths on those movies where they're talking. That's the part that shocks me. But Cone, we got a little top 5 here. You want to?
Yeah, we're doing a little top 5 college basketball list, right?
In the future, yes, going forward.
So what's the stipulations here?
So we don't want people to. Yeah, we're gonna kill you. We don't want people to confuse this with blue bloods. All right, which to me, blue blood is over a long period of time, and I think you have to have a national championship.
Just
at least one to be considered a blue blood. So this is not a blue blood list. This is the top 5 college basketball programs we're buying moving forward. And we all made an individual list, but guys, we need to come together.
We need to come together.
As a
Build the
community.
transformer.
Yeah, no, we don't need to do that. We need to build a list of 5. So we're going to read our individual list first. In the chat, let us know what your list is.
What's your
1 through
list?
5. I'll start with my
Hit
list.
us with your list.
Let's go.
Okay.
Start with 5.
5 going forward. Here are the 5 programs I'm buying into the future. 1, Duke. John Shire, coach's ass off. You're going to get great
Duke's
players
5 or
anyway.
Duke's 1?
Duke's 1.
Oh yeah, we said we're
Duke's
starting
1.
from 5, and then you went to 1, but that's okay.
No, I'm going to start with 1.
Okay, we good.
All right, Duke. 2, I got to go UConn.
Okay.
I know they got bounced by Florida in the second round, won the last 2 natties. Dan Hurley's going to be even more pissed coming into this year after not winning it. I'm buying UConn, especially since he turned the Lakers down. I don't think he's going anywhere. My 3rd may surprise you, Florida.
Okay.
I think Florida is an absolute golden egg place. We've seen what they've done in the past in basketball. Speaking about winning back-to-back natties, and Todd Golden does an incredible job. They're going to keep recruiting their ass off. So give me Florida at 3, and then 4. And I think 4 and 5 could be somewhat interchangeable. All right, I got Auburn at 4. I mean, Bruce just keeps doing it. Look at the championship.
I already know who you have.
Regular
You have Auburn
season.
where?
Right, Auburn at 4. I got Auburn at 4. 2 Final Fours in 6 years, and then Bama at 5. So I got 3 SEC schools here, and because I think Nate Oates is staying at Bama. Didn't go to Maryland. Didn't go to North Carolina or Kentucky when he had a chance. Doesn't seem like he wants to go to the NBA.
Bama at 5.
I got Bama at 5. I almost put St. John's.
So what has
I almost put
Alabama
St.
done that, say, Purdue hasn't done?
Well,
or even Houston at this point.
Well, Purdue.
Where's Houston on the list?
I can understand. Houston, now they've gotten to the Final Four. You can make a good argument for them. But I think Bama's made, like 4 out of the last 5 Sweet 16s? I mean, they've kept it rolling. I mean, they have. Look at who they've gone through at guard. I mean, Mark Sears came from Ohio. I think Nate Oates is recruiting at a really high level. So I got Duke 1, UConn 2, Florida 3, Auburn 4, Bama 5. What do you got?
Mine's more just traditional blue bloodish probably than that. I mean, my first 2 are the same, Duke, UConn.
Okay.
And then to me, it's still Kansas, North Carolina, and Villanova. And a big reason for that is, I mean, at some point, like Florida's right here to me, even Houston, I can get on board with the Auburn thing. I still wonder, programs that put basketball before they put football, or let me switch that around. Programs that still put football first before they put basketball, how much success long-term can those basketball programs have? And I'm thinking specifically with Auburn and Alabama here, they're always going to primarily be football schools first in a way that Kentucky is not. Like Kentucky puts basketball first before they put football. If Bruce Pearl decides to retire from Auburn after making this Final Four, what does the state of Auburn basketball look like in 3 seasons? Every job that comes open, even if it's football, Blaine's talking about Nate Oates from Alabama taking that job. If Nate Oates leaves after this year, what is the state of Alabama basketball 3 seasons from now? Those are the questions I'm having. Whereas North Carolina is down right this second and barely made it into the tournament, I would still be bullish on North Carolina because I know what they're going to put behind that basketball program. Same with Villanova, same with Kansas, same with schools like that.
I totally understand that argument. I don't think you're wrong, but let me counterpoint it.
Please.
I think Auburn and Alabama have been good enough for long enough now to be able to withstand a changing of the guard and just the brand and the view of it. Because, I mean, you look at the success that they've had. I mean, Bruce has been at Auburn, like 11, 12 years now, something like that. Nate has been at Bama longer than what I think some people have realized. So, if this was just a flash in the pan and then the coach was gone, like Nate Oates goes to the Sweet 16, his third year at Alabama or whatever, and then bolts somewhere else. Okay, I can understand that. But I think the staying power with both those guys have put basketball into such a light that the fans expect it. And I think the football money kind of helps.
Sure.
With basketball. But, you look at the NIL and the commitment the SEC has made. So that's why I think they can withstand it. And will Stephen Pearl, who I think should get the job after Bruce gets done, will he be able to keep that going? It's still a Pearl. He understands the process. Alabama's a hot place to go to right now. I will say the North Carolina thing, though. What about the shoe on the opposite foot? Bill Belichick just got hired in North Carolina. They just pumped, $21 million into that? North Carolina can't even buy a big man right now.
That coach,
I know. And Hubert Davis got extended. So, I'm not exactly thinking Hubert Davis is this amazing coach right now. What if North Carolina goes out and makes the college football playoff?
Or so you think, what if North Carolina basketball goes like Nebraska football? Let's say
a little bit. Not saying they'll
or
fall
even like
drastic.
Indiana basketball has.
Something
why is
like
Indiana
that.
not great at basketball every single season? And maybe they'll get back to that. The most interesting part of what you're saying, and I was wondering this when I was making my list earlier, is for schools that put basketball second and put football first, like we're talking about with Alabama and Auburn, can the second sport, basketball, with enough NIL money and enough resources still be better than some schools, say in the Big East maybe, or in the ACC, still be better than those schools who put basketball first, like a Creighton or Villanova or even Kentucky or North Carolina?
Where was St. John's on y'all's?
Again, how long is Rick Pitino?
Rick Pitino, as long as Pitino was there. And again, I think Big East, I think basketball. Now, I think we're living in a world where the Big East could merge with the ACC probably here pretty soon. You look at somebody like Villanova. Yeah, they're a basketball school because they don't have a Division I football team. They got a football team, but they're not Division I. I'm watching what the SEC is doing and how they've surpassed the ACC and how they've surpassed the Big East. I'm just at the point now where it just seems like it works. Like they decided, hey, we have enough money to do this. We want to take it seriously. And you're seeing the results. And I know Blaine's going to list his top 5, and then we can come together to get a top 5. But I want to ask you quickly, has the SEC done enough to you? Because, again, at the beginning of the tournament, we're like, yeah, they got 14 teams in, but you got to do something during the tournament. They have 7 teams make the Sweet 16, half of the Elite 8. They got 4 in the Elite 8. Now they got 2 in the Final 4. Do you think the SEC's done enough to be like, hey, this is becoming the best conference of basketball?
They've done enough for me to say they've had an incredible year. Again, the whole thing we talked about this entire season is, what if they get 3 out of the 4 teams, which is what I had in my bracket, but say someone like Duke still wins the championship. And I only bring that up because I see Big Ten fans a lot of years say, well, we got 2 of the 4 college football playoff teams. I mean, Georgia still won it all. This was a couple of years ago. But Big Ten fans would brag about that. Well, now the Big Ten has back-to-back national champions in football, and so it sort of seems like the SEC saying, okay, well, we're going to take this now, right? Like, we're going to go take basketball. Florida is the most interesting one for me. Florida, and you could even put Michigan in this category, too, of programs that still are football first, but have been able to have some success when it comes to basketball. If Florida wins this one this year, that means from the time I've been in college, Florida would have won 3 national championships.
It's unbelievable.
With different coaches, 2 different coaches. That's impressive, man.
No, it is. All right, Blaine, what's your 5?
My 5 is, we're going to start with like everybody else. First, Duke. It's obvious. My second is UConn. My third is Houston. My 4th is St. John's. And my 5th is Auburn.
Your 5th is Auburn.
So you did have Houston in there. Good, showing them some love.
And you put St.
Well, Kevin Sampson's built over there. I mean, it's every Kevin, who might go to Gonzaga. But it's every year.
Same question remains, though. What if Kelvin Sampson leaves and takes another job next year or next week? Is Houston the type of program that can withstand that and just sort of plug and replace?
I think so. I think it's big enough that they're going to get a guy who comes in there who knows.
Well, is Houston basketball bigger than Houston football, you think?
Yes.
Even though Houston's now in the Big 12 in
Yes.
football, I think it is.
Absolutely.
Because I go back to like Phi Slamma Jamma and stuff like that. Like Houston has had success.
I see what Kelvin's built there is past him. Like what he's built there, the culture will, unless you just completely fumble the hire, which is hard to do in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think the culture will transfer even when he retires. Like I really do. And I almost think the same thing at St. John's. I mean, what Pitino's done there in 2 years is absolutely incredible. And I mean, I don't know of a guy right now that the camera does magnetize more than Rick Pitino. So, I mean.
And the greatest programs are the ones to me that, well, they never fumble a hire, but if they do fumble a hire, because that happens every now and then, that you can still pick back up right where you left off and get back on your feet quickly.
You think Villanova's like that?
I lived through that. I think Villanova's like that in college.
What about
I lived through that with Michigan
Where's
football.
Arizona?
You know, like Arizona?
Yeah.
I think Arizona.
Because right now, like my kind of wild cards you have in there, I mean, Alabama, obviously. Arizona, I think you put Kentucky in there. And maybe you can have a conversation about Marquette. Shaka Smart.
Well, we'll see. Marquette's got to, show me something in the tournament. With Shaka, I mean, we know what he did at VCU. But it's going to be interesting over the next 5 years to see. So, in our list together, before we get to the chat here, we all had Duke number 1 and UConn number 2. So, I already wrote those down. So, we're good on that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, Cone, who did you have number 3 again?
Kansas.
Okay, I had Florida. Who did you have, Blaine?
Houston.
You had Houston. All right, so we're all different there. I would buy Kansas more than North Carolina because at least Bill Self is still at Kansas. And I know the last couple of years haven't been amazing when it's come to what Kansas done in the past. But Bill Self is still averaging, 29 and a half wins per year, which is insane. So I'd be willing to bump I would be willing to bump Florida, Auburn, and Bama down 1 and put Kansas 3 because at the end of the day, look, I love me some Lance Leipold, but Kansas basketball.
Yeah,
I mean.
quickly, and I'm not trying to jump around here, but a lot of people in the chat are saying this. What about Gonzaga?
Mm-hmm.
Why is Gonzaga not in any of our list?
And it's another one of those examples of really good, a lot of years and no championship to show for it.
Yeah, so and I know Gonzaga's made Final Four with Mark Few, made a national championship game. They still haven't won it. And I know they made 4 Sweet 16s in a row or something the past 4. I just feel like teams are catching up to Gonzaga. As long as Gonzaga is in the WCC, not that they won't be good. I mean, they beat Georgia to death, beat them to death. But I think Gonzaga's kind of lost a little bit of an edge since so many more people are taking college basketball seriously and the transfer portal a little bit. I think being in that conference, because say what you want, and I got respect for San Francisco, what the Dons do out there, but when you're playing teams that have volleyball lines on the court and their parents work in the concession stand still, I just don't know if Gonzaga can be as dominant as what they've been in the past. So I wouldn't have them in my top 5. I'd probably have them in my top 10. It would probably be lower on top 10, but I'm willing to put Kansas at 3. With you because they were kind of on the bubble around of who I had right by Alabama. So that's 2 out of 3. So we'll go Kansas there. To me, I think the question then becomes at 4. Do we have Florida at 4? You had who at 4 again?
St. John's.
St. John's, and
I
you
like
had
Florida there.
I like Florida there too. They can get so hot. Todd Golden, he's a hell of a coach. And maybe it's because the era I grew up in, like to your point, man, Billy Donovan had it cooking down there.
So good.
Get it? I know how hot that place can get. So let's go Florida at 4. And then, Blaine, you know what? I'll give you Houston at 5. I'll roll with Houston at 5. Do we trust Houston in the long run more than Auburn or Bama?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Who do you trust more in the long run, Houston, Bama, or Auburn?
I think you can make a case for all 3.
Say them again.
Houston, Alabama, or Auburn. Like in my head, I'm thinking next 5 years, right? Next 5 years. Who would you trust more as a program? Houston, Alabama, or Auburn?
The Big 12 is a really good basketball conference, too. I'm going to say Auburn. People call it a homer take. I think Auburn's here
I
to
don't
stay.
hate that, assuming that Bruce Pearl would be there for those 5 seasons.
Yeah. I would say Auburn, which is a stretch. I don't know how much longer. If Bruce wins the national championship this year, and I have no insider information, I would be shocked if he didn't retire.
But if I knew for a fact that Nate Oates would be at Alabama for another 5 years, I would be willing to make that pick as well. I just, I want to see him stay there and stick around, and I don't know if he has any interest in going to the NBA. His name seems to come up every time there's an NBA job.
Well, at least from that guy over there.
From that guy over there.
No, I would say, are y'all good with Auburn at 5? Are you good with that?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
sure you
absolutely.
are. All right, so we got Duke 1, UConn 2, Kansas 3, Florida 4, Auburn 5. Chat, tell us how he did.
All right, let's go to a $5 donation from RBT. What's up? He says, guys, I love y'all's list. Now, I got a question about Kentucky. Is Mark Pope the right guy to bring Kentucky back to dominance? Or are the fans expecting too much too soon?
Well, I think a better way to put it, there's our list up there. Great job in the control room there, guys. I don't know, and I've said this about college football. I don't know if, and I get that UConn has won 2 natties in a row, but now they're not going to win a third. Moving forward, I just don't know if any team will be able to dominate at the level that Kentucky used to dominate the SEC in college basketball. Like, especially the SEC, because that gets you that 1 seed, right? Like, how many times, and you look at, and we're going to talk about Chris Beard. We're going to talk about what's happened with A&M, even though they lost Buzz Williams. I just don't know if any team can dominate the way that Kentucky fans were used to dominating moving forward. That's why I want to get Matt Jones from Kentucky Sports Radio on here and talk to him about it, because I wonder, we always talk about never watering down the standard or the expectation, but you also have to accept reality. I don't know if anybody can dominate the way that Kentucky used to dominate basketball, but I do think if anybody can get Kentucky back to doing well in the NCAA tournament consistently and maybe doing it a little bit of a different way than Cal did with the one and dones, I think it's Mark Pope.
Let's go to a $5 donation from Oscar. Appreciate it, Oscar. He says, Hubert will be the downfall of North Carolina. We're watching it with our own eyes.
Cone, what do you think? What do you think about North Carolina?
Well, again, if that's true, and I mean, they signed him to an extension without telling everyone, and then it leaked later. That's a bit weird. If that's true, though, again, you have to have an athletic director. I mean, we saw your AD be able to get North Carolina in the tournament when their KenPom rating wasn't up to
Bubba Cunningham.
tournament
like a
standards.
NASCAR driver.
You got to see an athletic director say, all right, we got to move off this and not miss on the next hire. That's why you're looking at Duke right now. I mean, they go from Mike Krzyzewski immediately to John Shire and haven't missed a beat, and he may win a national championship. Which would he be the first guy to win a national championship as a player and as a coach? I think that's right. Look into that. That's what you're seeing. But again, I lived through this with Michigan football. I watched them hire Rich Rodriguez, and they go on and you get Jim Harbaugh and you win a national championship.
I just the reason I don't trust Hubert Davis, because to me it's got to be so hard to not win at North Carolina. And I'm not even talking about winning the national title, but dude, that's one of the meccas of college. Like, how do you screw that up? How does North Carolina not have a big man? How does that happen? How do you fumble the bag that badly at North Carolina? You could have a blind dude that just knows, Braille, be able to get North Carolina to, you think, at least the Sweet 16. But then you see Elliot Cadeau transfers, who I think is a hell of a player, to Michigan. But North Carolina, they're going to invest in basketball. I don't trust Hubert Davis. It's like crashing a Lamborghini.
$5 donation from Will. Appreciate it, Willie. Says it's great to say that Bruce Pearl doesn't hate Jake anymore. We're moving together as a world.
Look, it's amazing how a Final Four brings people together.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to $5 donation from Welcome to Titletown. He says, guys, is UCLA still a top 5 job today? Or are they just living off the ghost of John Wooden?
I was wondering about them earlier. Top 5, I don't know.
I wouldn't say top 5.
But where does UCLA fit into this?
I just feel like, and look, UCLA's had some success recently, and I think Mick Cronin, say what you want about what he said about his players, I think he's a damn good coach. I'm just looking at UCLA, and the more I look at UCLA, the more I'm starting to see Indiana. It's hey, you dominated for a long time with John Wooden. You're one of the most, you got some of the most trophies in the trophy cases. I think they're in a better spot. We'll see what DeVries does in Indiana. I wouldn't say it's a top 5 job right now. I don't think it is. I know you're in the Big Ten, which I think UCLA can have a lot more success in the Big Ten in basketball than they can in football, but I don't think it's a top 5 job.
Some of those teams they had recently were a lot of fun to watch, unless they were playing your school and UCLA.
Who was it they had? It was Jaquez?
It was they had the Johnny Juzang,
yep.
Tyga Campbell at point guard.
They beat Bama.
Jaquez.
They did. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
Too. That was a hell of a game. Not top 5. I would say you could put UCLA in the top 10, and I don't think you'd be crazy at the end of the day. But all right, going to get back to the chat here soon. But we have some coaching news as well here, guys, going on here in the college basketball
Let's
world.
talk about these first 2 together. First of all, Buzz Williams leaving Texas A&M to take the Maryland job. That one is official after Maryland's coach
went to Villanova.
Job. Yeah. And now Ole Miss coach Chris Beard is he the front runner, would you say, right now?
I saw Jeff Goodman post about it. It seems like there is some legitimate, we need to just hit up Billy Lucci's.
And for people who aren't quite that familiar, remember, Chris Beard was the head coach at Texas, had a situation there where he was let go. Ole Miss hired him. They made a run to, the Sweet 16 or?
Yeah, really should have been the Elite Eight.
Yeah, almost. And now Texas A&M may hire him, even though he was a former coach at Texas. Anyway, that part we don't know. But Buzz Williams leaving Texas A&M for Maryland, what are your thoughts on that? And then you can speak to the Chris Beard part of this.
I was shocked, to be honest with you, because at first I was like, okay, I know Buzz Williams was at Marquette. I know he was an assistant at A&M. Like, there must be some connection to Maryland that's back further in his career or something. But I'm looking, and I can't find it.
Maryland's a basketball school.
I understand that. You say that, but their head coach just left him because he couldn't get another night in a hotel in New York for the basketball team. And you've got the Under Armour guy. I know y'all aren't broke. It surprised me because I feel like Buzz Williams was so ingrained at A&M. Like, I can't think about it. Got to the point where I was trying to think who the hell else has ever coached basketball at Texas A&M. Buzz Williams was so ingrained there. It really surprised me to see him make that move. And again, there may be things I don't know. There may be stuff that makes it a smarter move. And in the chat,
he was born in Texas.
Yeah, like if somebody in the chat has some sort of nugget of information that I haven't been able to find, please indulge us. But that one shocked me. Now, as far as the Chris Beard to A&M thing. If this were to happen, like this Texas A&M rivalry it's starting to turn into a movie franchise to me. Because just think about it. We know about football. These two programs do not like each other. They do not like each other at all. But baseball, the A&M coach goes to Texas. You remember that debacle that went on. Now, if Chris Beard goes to A&M, you would have a former Texas coach that is now at A&M. It's like a circular firing squad, dog. Like, it's true.
So would Texas then hire him back? After 1 year at A&M, Texas,
no.
like, you know what, you can come back now.
No, it's over.
Hell. They got Archie Miller, is
A&M a better basketball school than Ole Miss?
I think they've got more money.
Than Ole Miss?
Ole Miss.
They've got A&M's got more money than
Ole Miss is poor.
No, I'm not saying Ole Miss is poor.
And I'll tell you this right now. When I went to these Sweet 16 games, from a fan base standpoint showing out, it was Auburn, then Ole Miss.
I'm not trying to knock Ole Miss.
Rafters.
I'm not trying. Ole Miss has a lot of money. They got old money. They don't have oil money.
But
like, there's one thing about being
there
rich.
For Chris Beard when he needed them.
And that's the point I was about to get to. Ole Miss is like the millionaire you see, like driving a nice car, unbelievable, like going to eat at all the nicest places, millionaire. A&M's like the billionaire, the guy you don't see, the guy who decides he wants to go into space. Like that type, they got that type of money.
Like get in the submarine?
Like get in a submarine, let's go get some answers. Let's just hope it doesn't crumble. But when I look at this situation, to your point, Cone, and it's a good one to bring up, and I want to know what Ole Miss fans think about this. I understand that money talks and, well, let's be honest, bullshit walks. Like, it just money talks. But the loyalty factor of Ole Miss hired Chris Beard when he was pretty much at his lowest. At his lowest. They took a chance on him. I know what happened with Bruce Pearl and Chris Beard were different. I'm not comparing what they got in trouble for. Like, one was a cookout, the other one was an alleged, chokeout. I'm not saying that it happened or whatever. I'm just saying it was alleged. But Ole Miss took a chance on you when you were at the lowest, right? Like, how much does that loyalty worth? Or is this just a leverage play for Chris Beard to get more money at Ole Miss after going to the Sweet 16? I don't think he'd be crazy either way. I just know how much money. And A&M's a little bit embarrassed right now. Think about it. Your baseball coach got snagged. Your basketball coach just got snagged by Maryland. Must love crab cakes. You got to make a splash, dude. Yeah, baseball's going awful right now for A&M. It's a weird deal, Cone. Like, how much is loyalty worth? Like, how much is it worth at the end of the day? To
quote Dwight Schrute, I'm all about loyalty, and I'll go wherever they value that loyalty the most.
Yeah, okay. I get it.
We should do that. If Chris Beard goes to Texas A&M, we got to do the Dwight Schrute meme. All right, two more up here. Let's go to Major League Baseball. We don't have to spend a lot of time on this, but we do need to at least mention it because the Braves are the only winless team.
Yeah, y'all
in
suck.
Major League Baseball. The only winless team, Jake.
Y'all are bad.
The White Sox have a couple wins. Every team but the Braves have won a baseball game.
I blame Barrett Salee.
Wow, we're putting that on Barrett.
I blame my guy Barrett. Look, that's my boy.
No way.
That's my boy. But at the end of the day, I mean, come on, dude. Like, you become a big part
Barrett's
of the
not
Braves.
out there with a bat.
I don't care. Get a torpedo bat. Do something.
If you're the Braves, why wouldn't everybody in your lineup be using a torpedo bat?
Well, where I'm at this is the one time in my life where I'm unbelievably glad that Major League Baseball plays 817 regular season games. There's never a better chance to come back than in the Major League Baseball regular season. Because we got what? 157 games
and
left?
It's also a chance to look absolutely terrible for a long period of time.
Well, they say the season doesn't start till after the All-Star break. So just got the hitting. Like, you got a guy.
We don't have a hitter batting over 188 right now.
It's bad.
Terrible.
It's bad. You might as well go out there with a rake.
Jurickson Profar, 80-game suspension for PEDs. And the worst part of that is even when he does come back, he can't participate in the postseason because of that. If they're, I mean, at this point, that's the least of our worries.
Hey, at least the Reds
He's
are doing
good.
it. At least the Reds are doing it.
Yeah, by the way, can we talk about the Reds?
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz, but the Braves, it's a disaster right now.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna overreact too early, but it's bad. It's not good.
How about those Yankees?
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about them later. Using
Shut
those
up, idiot.
torpedo bats on the Little League field. Next one up, Masters is next week. Do we have Tiger Woods' tweet that he posted? Yeah. See, he didn't get me with this one, but he got a couple people because this was April Fool's. You got Tracy Wolfson. He said, I can't believe I'm saying this, but a few weeks after rupturing my left Achilles and the sleeping in the hyperbaric chamber plus the explosive lifts, my doctors and trainers have me ready to play in the Masters next week. Can't wait.
Don't like it. Don't get me gassed up like this. Don't get me gassed up like this.
But you know it's
I know it's fake, but I don't even like you joking about it. Because the Masters just isn't the same without Tiger.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Golf's
It's not the same. I know golf's not the same, but the Masters is not the same without Tiger Woods.
I love this from Tiger, though. I love it.
Why?
It's humor. It's funny.
It's so obvious that it's not true, though.
But it's funny.
If you're going to do an April Fool's joke, can you at least, like, make it, like, believable?
This got people, though.
This guy,
I
I can't believe this
Well, look, you
confused
can
a lot
catch
of people.
a lot of people with a wide net, all right? There's a lot of low IQers walking around out there. But at the end of the day, like, I thought the Buzz Williams one was April Fool's. I was like, that's a good one. That's a good one. Because a couple days before that, they were talking about, hey, there's some interest in Buzz Williams in Maryland. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
I
Set
had
us
to
up.
quadruple check the Val Kilmer one.
Yeah.
No.
See, yeah,
That
I
was
thought
tough.
I thought he
April
just
Fool.
died right after the second Top Gun movie.
That's what you said. You said you already been through the pain. You thought he was dead.
I thought he already died.
Man, I hate it. So you put together a list.
I put together my top 5 Val Kilmer performances. Would you like to hear them?
I would please
All right.
indulge me with.
First one up, I thought I was going to, and this was number 5, was True Romance. I thought I was going to catch more heat from this because he's in the movie for fewer than 3 minutes. But he's Elvis. He's the mentor. Elvis.
I've never seen that movie.
True Romance, you should check it out. Quentin Tarantino wrote the script, but Tony Scott directed it. So you got Tony Scott directed Quentin Tarantino's script, and it's pretty awesome. Dennis Hopper's in the movie. But Val Kilmer plays pretty much Elvis Presley, and it's pretty sweet. You should check it out.
Right.
Number 4, do we have my list actually up here? Because I think I had Top Gun number 4.
The original.
The original. Oh, yeah, there we go.
4.
Top Gun number 4.
4.
Yes, which he's in that one for less than 10 minutes in the original Top Gun
Did you
movie.
catch heat for that?
I didn't catch Heat, but Heat is on this list, so I see what you're saying. What was I going to say? I'm so glad they were able to get him in Top Gun Maverick because it ended up being his final.
Yeah, because he couldn't talk or something,
No,
right?
he
He was talking with a keyboard.
Yeah, but isn't it better that he's in it, though?
Space is all.
It's his last movie performance.
Yeah, I know. It was sad. It was extremely sad to watch.
Yeah. 3 for me, The
Get out of
Doors.
my office.
3 was The Doors when he played Jimmy Morrison.
Haven't
Yeah.
seen it.
Okay, you haven't
Pretty
seen
good.
it?
I've seen
Do
it.
you like The Doors music at all?
Even
if you don't.
I mean, I'm trying to. What do they sing?
A lot of songs.
Like, what's your favorite?
Doors.
Open
The
Me?
fire. Start
called
the
Doors.
fire.
Start the Ryan started the fire. Oh,
I'll have to look up my favorite Doors songs. But anyway, he's great in it. Oliver Stone directed. 2 is Heat,
yeah, I've seen Heat.
right?
I've seen Heat.
You know,
That
I mean, he's
shooting
awesome
scene in
in it.
Heat.
He's awesome.
Yeah. that's
Michael
a great
Mann,
movie.
number one, though, not only his best performance, but one of the greatest performances
Say it.
in cinema history, Tombstone.
I'm watching
As
it
Doc
tonight.
Holliday.
Yeah, Huckleberry.
In honor of Val Kilmer,
you've
I'm
seen it a
watching
bunch.
You scared to
Oh,
play
I
for
love
blood?
Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Are you kidding me? I'm all about some Tombstone.
That's just my game.
I wonder if that's a like top 5 action performance of all time.
Have you ever seen? There's a Netflix documentary about like the true story behind Tombstone and all that, and like the guy who plays Doc, like is a real person. Like stuff really went down. It's fantastic. I loved it.
So you guys agree with that being his best performance?
100%.
Tombstone, yeah.
That's what I know him from.
Look, can I
was he
can I be
Batman?
honest with a lot of people in here?
He was Batman, but see, this is what's interesting about Val Kilmer. Leading man, for sure, right? Like a leading man, maybe not up on Tom Cruise level and Brad Pitt and all that, but leading man. But my favorite, like 4 out of the 5 on there, he's a supporting actor in those, right? Like my favorite performances weren't his leading roles necessarily.
He was in the Batman with Riddler.
Jim Carrey.
Riddler,
With
yeah.
Jim
correct,
Carrey.
yeah.
And I think Tommy Lee Jones is in that one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like
Christian
that one.
Bale just blew out the water on any other Batman.
Yeah,
I
Christian's
It's just-
pretty good.
I've never seen Heat.
You
Never
need to
seen
watch
Heat?
it.
I've
Man, you
never
should watch
I've
that
seen
tonight.
the shootout scene because it's all over social media.
Because what's cool about that one, what's cool about Heat, I mean, Val Kilmer's awesome in it, but Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are both in it. And it's the first time in a film, and this was 1995, this was the first time that they were in a scene together. Remember in Godfather 2, when De Niro won an Oscar for that performance, like he's the younger Don Corleone. So he's not in scenes with Al Pacino, who was Michael Corleone, because they have like a split narrative going on.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense for them.
So they finally got the two of them together, and their scenes are incredible in that too.
What about, I heard a lot of people saying Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I'm not a big fan. I don't love Shane Black movies. He's like the Lethal Weapon. He wrote the Lethal Weapon stuff. But that was his directorial debut, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And then he directed the, you guys like The Other Guys. He directed and wrote The Nice Guys.
Okay. I like that with
Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I thought that was a good movie.
You like that
I thought that was a really good movie.
Maybe
All right,
I'll watch Kiss Kiss Bang.
Well, before we get to bets here, what's the chat?
$5 donation from Madison135. Appreciate it. He said, I'm going to be honest. I'm not trying to be mean, but Val Kilmer's Batman was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
People didn't love it as much.
Yeah, I forgot he was Batman. I need to go back and watch that movie.
Let's go to a $5 donation from JD. Blaine has never seen Tombstone until like 3 years ago. His opinion is irrelevant. Run along, youngin'. Hey, look, I watched
It's
that.
never too late.
I watched that more than 3 years ago. Probably a $5.
It's an all-timer for me.
Hey, I'd never seen Crimson Tide. I think that might be
That's crazy.
That might be my favorite Gene Hackman movie now.
It's so good. He just can't be in charge of like war stuff. I mean,
No,
that behind enemy.
$5 donation from Jimmy Knows. Appreciate it, Jimmy. He says that shootout scene in Heat needs to go down as a top 3 cinematic scene
It's up there
of all time.
It feels so real. That one feels so
Well, apparently
real.
I saw something. There was like Marines that go back and watch that. The way he reloaded that gun so quick, like it's almost teaching tape,
Yeah.
which is
Look,
insane.
it's like Keanu
He's an
in his
actor at the
movies.
end of the day. $5 donation from Reynolds. He says, "I'll be a Huckleberry right now. Tombstone's my #1 movie of all time."
I can understand it. It's The Dark Knight's mine. The Dark Knight is my #1 movie of all time. But I could totally understand if you have Tombstone #1.
Let's go to a $2 donation from Welcome to the Function. Appreciate it, brother. It says, it's so beautiful to me to watch the Braves be below mediocre. # go Phils. It's tough, fellas.
You know what? I can sit here and take the Braves slander, but the go Phils at the end just hurts.
Hey,
It just hurts.
What can we do? We can't do anything but take it.
Well, I'm going to call Barrett after this show, actually. You need to get him right. Somebody go in the dugout and say something.
Yeah.
Can somebody get pissed off once?
Get loud a little bit.
Let's go to a $2 donation from Brandon864. Appreciate it. It says, am I crazy or Heat was not that good of a movie?
I enjoy it, man.
I think you're crazy, but we appreciate you being here.
All right, let's go to Eddie. What's up, Eddie? He says, Val Kilmer may be the best mix of Bruce Wayne / Batman, most lean one out of all of them. He did mix it extremely well, in my opinion.
Well, you got some back and forth. Some people think it's the best. Some people think it's the worst. I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of is what it is. But speaking of best and worst, let's get to bets. And guys, I've made an incredible mistake.
What'd you do?
Incredible mistake. And I'm sorry about it. The 2 bets that I turned in, the games have already been played today. All right. So here's what happened.
Wait, what were they?
Here's what happened.
They don't count.
Well, I missed one.
It doesn't matter if you hit them or miss them.
So these don't count.
Then,
So I went 1-1. If I was going to cheat, I would have picked 2 that hit.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're cheating.
What did you pick?
So I decided to go the other way. And really, when Paul Skeens pitches and you take a Yurfee, so a run in the first inning, you're just assuming that the Pirates are going to score because the other team's not. There's a reason it was plus 135. It did not hit. There were no runs scored in the first inning. But I did take the Nerfie for the Reds and the Rangers. All right, that's a little bit of me and yours, second favorite team right there. And that one hit. But according to Blaine, the Mustache Wonder, those do not count. So that's fine. I get it. That's my mistake. We take accountability here.
We have to have standards on that.
Yeah, I forgot this happens with baseball.
I don't want to hear about standards from you.
I need to be careful, more careful too, because I took the Rangers money line at plus 120, and
they won, didn't they?
They already beat the Reds.
Yeah.
And I took Blue Jays money line minus 105, and they are in the third inning.
All right, still good.
What are we doing?
Still good, though. What's the
Fellas,
score?
what are we doing?
1-0.
You're typically the one that makes this mistake.
1-0 Blue Jays over Nationals, but it's middle of the third.
Okay. What do you got?
I'm taking Dodgers minus 1.5 going
Wow,
on
ballsy.
126 because why not? They're the Dodgers. It's basically the entire Japanese team. You know who they're playing?
Yeah, we know who they're playing.
Who they're playing, guys?
They're playing the
Braves. Get it.
in Los Angeles.
I am going to get rich betting against the Braves this year, and I cannot wait. I'm taking the Yankees because I gotta. Minus 1.5 going off at plus 146.
Who do they got?
Who are they
playing?
playing the D-backs. Zach Gallen on the mound.
Have we tried these torpedo bats? Do they not have those in Atlanta?
Y'all can get up there
Can
with
we at
a
least
tennis
try 'em?
racket.
Yeah, I don't know if we could hit if we gave him a ladder right now. I don't know. All right, Ace. Paul Skeens, 8+ Ks. Need to look at that. That's going up at minus 120. Then, got another one on our hands. The Dodgers.
E2 Brute.
Minus 1.5. Not cool, dog. On the run line. That's minus 125. All right. All this Braves talk is just slowly starting to piss me off. But let's get to the chat before we get on up.
All right, let's get these donations. If you donated today, thank you so much. We enjoy your money. Let's go to a $5 donation from RWG. Appreciate it. It says, hey, guys, first time watching y'all show, and I must say I am enjoying it.
Thank you.
Second thing, I'm a Yankees fan, and it's great to see Blaine root for a bunch of winners. # Braves suck.
So you're
Make
over
up
this.
that whole last part.
No, it's right here.
No, well, so now you're not mad they CNN you anymore. So that's done.
No, that's two
because they're good. It's amazing.
two
They
different-
get good, and it's
Hit
just
a couple
all.
That's two
runs.
different things.
It just
Hit a
that's
couple
two
home runs
different-
out
No, it's
there.
not.
I'm not going to be mad at the players because the social media team doesn't do their job. All right? I'm not going to do that.
If somebody's branded like RWG, tell them what they did to you quickly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, was it last year?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Maybe 2 years ago. Right after the All-Star break, I said they didn't get enough pieces, all right, to go win a
During the
World
trade
Series.
deadline.
During the trade deadline. They didn't do enough. Okay? And that was after I gave them probably 6 compliments. Bang, 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 all back to back. So the social media team at the Yankees decided to just cut the clip of where I said, for their playoff hype video, saying they didn't get enough to win a World Series. And what did y'all not do? Win a World Series. So who was right? Me. And do I forgive you, social media team at the Yankees? I'll never forgive you unless you publicly apologize.
Yeah.
I want it written in the sky like the bat signal.
No, so, and if I can tell you, I've never seen so much joy and then so much despair when I told Blaine, hey, you made the Yankees playoff hype video. And then I sent it to him because I think he thought it was going to be him gassing him up because we got 2 Braves fans here who were giving the Yankees hell. That was the funniest part about that whole thing. We were dogging the Yankees during that whole segment. Blaine complimented them. They took the one slightly negative but not crazy thing that Blaine said and put it on the hype.
The real ones know.
The real ones know.
The real ones know.
Let's go to a $5 donation from the Aggie. He says, I will never forgive Buzz Williams for this. What a sellout. The dude can never stick to one team.
I mean, I will say he does go like 5-6 years and then go somewhere else. So I will give him that. But
The homie
this
offer?
just feels wrong.
Yeah.
It just feels wrong. I just don't understand it.
Let's go to a $2 donation from Ryan. Appreciate it, Ryan. Remember, fellas, the Braves suck. # go Phillies.
Oh, he's back. It's baseball season.
I do on Friday. I want to hear from Maryland basketball fans too on if they like that hire because Maryland's a solid basketball school.
It is
I had
a
some
basketball
texting me
school.
yesterday. That they like the hire, but we'll have to see. So I want them to call in Friday.
We'll see.
$2 donation from Jonas. Appreciate it. It says, Beard's staying at Ole Miss, fellas. No reason to leave.
So is that?
I don't know if that's
Is that
official.
official?
I don't know.
I mean, I appreciate that being your opinion, but again, the money is different.
$5 donation from Tim. Appreciate it, Tim. It's good to see Pearl has no beef with Jake anymore. Also, Wisconsin is dead to me. All they do is break my heart. 1 basketball natty in the 50s and 0 in football.
Man, y'all had a good shot at it with that team with Decker and Kaminsky. Then you gave up that lead to Duke. think they were up 9 in the Natty, then gave that up. I don't know if Wisconsin will ever win at basketball again.
$5 donation from the MAC. Appreciate it. Rick Pitino will bring St. John's back to glory. They will be the New York stapled program.
Does anybody else just like St. John's for some reason? I've got no affiliation
John
with
Sally
them.
does.
Yeah, that's true. I've got no affiliation with them. I've never even been in New York. I need to go. I've never been. But something about St. John's I just like, because I think it's in Queens. I think that's where it is. I may be wrong. St. John's fans in there, let me know if I'm wrong.
$5 donation from Wes. Appreciate it, Wes. He said, I'm a Maryland fan, and I'm excited about Buzz Williams. The way our last coach handled leaving, I'll never forgive him for that. Buzz, new culture, everything we want in a Maryland fan base.
Have you ever seen anything like what happened with the Maryland basketball coach? Like, just coming out in the press conference. I'm trying to remember. I've seen shocking moves in coaching, but I've never seen it handled like that. Like, how do you say stuff like that in a press conference and then go, like, coach your team?
To a win.
To a win. You're getting booed. You know how Auburn does, like, Tiger Walk and stuff, like, before the games are leaving? He got booed during, like, the Terp Walk or whatever it is. Got booed while your team's going to play against Florida in the Sweet 16. I've never seen that.
Because he made those comments before, wasn't it before the game winner by Queen?
Yeah, I think it was before the NCAA tournament.
Oh, was it?
I think he said it before the
I thought
the
he
tournament
said it
started.
like while they were like in between the first
I may
and
be
second
wrong.
round.
I may be wrong, but I thought he said it before the tournament started.
$20 donation from Kayla. Appreciate it. Says, hey, fellas, just wanted to hop in here for a second and say I love the show and I hate Nate Oates. # War Eagle.
That's accepted here. That line of thinking is
$5 donation. Let me try to roll through these quickly. $5 donation from Laura. Appreciate it. Texas Tech spent $30 million instead of a new art basketball facility. Our coach made the Elite Eight in year 2. Future is bright in the 806.
make a free throw.
$5 donation from BCC. Appreciate it. I'm just happy to be here today. Jake, thanks for the concern you showed to me. I'll be shipping the action figures to you sometimes next week. $10 donation from Cuse. Appreciate it, Cuse. Congratulations to Carmelo K. Anthony on being elected in the Basketball Hall of Fame on the first ballot.
Oh,
one of the most lethal scorers ever, and always grateful for him getting Cuse in the Natty in 2003. Carmelo put out who?
Auburn. Yep. By 1.
Can't believe it. Wow. Last donation of the day, a $5 donation from WC. What's up, man? Bruce, can you finally publicly apologize to the Illinois fans out there for Deion Thomas' situation? Yes, I'm bitter and hold grudges.
No comment from me. No comment from me. But all right, John Fanta.
Don't you wanna?
From Field of 68 is going to join us on Locker Room Talk tomorrow. Do not miss it. Some great insight, talking a little bit about everything in the Final Four. Thanks to Coach Pearl again for showing up and doing that interview. I know it's a crazy time for them, and we appreciate you being here. Because without you, there is no us. Even Michigan State fans, look, we can not like each other right now. We can be beefing. That's fine. That's fine. But
it takes a lot for me to not like a fan base.
I'm
Does
cool
it,
with
though?
Michigan
Yeah,
State. I'm cool.
It does. It does. And
I don't
look,
think
it's
it
not. It
does.
wasn't all of them. I did see John Smoltz in a Michigan State jersey, Michigan State fit before the game, which just felt weird. Felt weird to see Smoltzy. I saw him on the video board.
Like a
saw him on the video board. So it's like Michigan State, Texas A&M. Y'all need to figure it out.
Well, we'll see. We appreciate you guys. Like the chances. Me not counting every second till this Final Four starts on Saturday.
Oh,
we're going. That's twice. I caught him twice this week. I'm coming through for you, Bruce. Come on, dog.